So today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do on this channel, and I'm going to run you through one of my favorite patches I've come up with on my HX Stomp that allows you to play bass notes without a bassist. I was going to say fire your bassist, but I have a vast appreciation for the efforts of our fellow bass men, women, and people. So let's dive into it a little bit. So to give you an idea of what this kind of bass note thing sounds like, it sounds like this. So I got the idea for this patch from listening to great jazz guitarists like Gilad Hexelman. He's kind of the first guy that kind of piqued this idea, and I always thought it was interesting because sometimes, I find myself in situations where I might be jamming with just a drummer and thinking that it might be nice to kind of have some of this stuff going on where I've only got the lowest note of my chord going through. And this is an effect that a lot of people use the Boss OC-3 for, and admittedly I do think if that pedal maybe does it better, but my personal kind of gear opinion is I like to have as little stuff as possible, so I figured out a workaround to make it work in the HX Stomp, and I'm going to kind of run you through my patch and how that's working. So down here is my wonderful patch for the HX Stomp. I'll change my view so that you can see it. And essentially the way that this patch works is I have this poly sustain is at the front of my chain, but it's not necessarily the that's just something that I like to use to sustain chords, so that's not what's happening here. But this is where the key comes in, where I have this split, and it's a split crossover, and this is the key to get it so that you're only doubling the low note of your chords. And I have it set to about 107 hertz. Admittedly, I'm not a super huge gear nerd and I'm not a huge frequency nerd, so I couldn't tell you exactly why that is, but basically the way that this works is it cuts out the signal around I can get, basically the higher I go, it stops doubling the low note, and then gradually comes in as I go lower, because it's only grabbing the lower frequencies. And this is the key to getting this kind of separation. And now what happens after that split crossover is I run it into the Octave pedal, and I have the -1 octave set to full, and I don't have any dry level going through, and I don't have any of the 2 octaves down going through, because a bass, as I'm sure many of you watching know, plays 1 octave lower than a guitar. So it goes into the Octave. Then my next pedal is kind of crucial to this setup, and it is just a simple EQ, and this helps you kind of dial in a more bass-like or less bass-like tone. Like, admittedly, this patch it doesn't sound like an upright bass, but it sounds a little bit more natural than the normal effect unprocessed by this EQ would. So this lets you kind of dial to taste what you like. And then after that, I just run it simply to what I use my HX effects for, my HX Stomp for the rest of the time, which is just amp modeling. So I'm running both sounds through a Fender Deluxe into a 1x10 Princess cab, and then I have a dynamic plate reverb happening after it. So there's kind of the specifics of this. And just to give you another idea of like the musical implications that this has, is I've used this a couple times at jams with a drummer, and it really just helps you kind of fill it out. And it's also kind of fun to mess around with in a solo guitar context if you're playing, trying to play as if you had a bassist, or that ba-da-da. In that solo guitar context, it gives you a kind of fun practice of messing around and seeing if you... So it just gives you that doubled low note of your chords, which is really, really nice, and you can kind of play as if you're pretending that you have a bassist with you. And so I've posted a couple clips to social media, and I always get comments asking how I do it. So here is me telling you how I do it. It's kind of my favorite HX Stomp patch, and it really, you know, it does the job. So yeah, that's basically it for me today. Let me know if you decided to experiment with this, or if you have anything kind of similar you've tried or achieved with it. And let me know if you want, you know, some more videos on how I'm getting my sounds, I guess, because I'm happy to share my inventions with this HX Stomp. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It really helps me out more than you could ever know. I got new videos coming out every Monday and Thursday. If you'd like to take a guitar lesson with me, I do have a lot of open spots. I've been connecting with a bunch of you guys from YouTube, and it's been really fun to connect with people all over the world. I have a contact page down there linked in the description to my website. I'd love to work with you. And lastly, I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you get to have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks for watching.